we're coming back to this cheap food thing. Now I want you to close your eyes. Visualize the plate of food that was in front of you last night. Now your wife knows how much food you need. Every night she dishes that amount of food. Now if you haven't gained weight in the last year, that food is maintenance food. What is maintenance food? It's the food that you need to move around, to catch food, to go fetch food, to live, to heart pump, to produce body heat. But there's nothing sellable from it, except for burps and farts and body heat and some manure if you're selling pig manure and so on. But there's nothing sellable from maintenance food. So now your wife's saying, nah, I like a bit more suspension in my husband and so on. I'm going to give him another scoop of the millipap every night. Now you're growing. That is used for growth. Guys, when you're feeding at low levels, if this is maintenance and you're feeding that much of food, you might get a certain amount of growth. But if you feed that much more, you've doubled your growth. Not that much more, just that much more, and you've doubled your growth. You see where I'm going with this? So just that much more doubles your growth. Not that much more, just that much more doubles your growth. Okay, just next one. Okay, so now if you take the first one again, where there was one block here for all of these columns, but now you're taking this and you're feeding it here. So now they're going twice as fast and reach the same weight so many days earlier. What you have saved, you haven't saved those, but you saved all of that maintenance food. So every day that your pig gets older, the first food that he uses is for maintenance. And that is how you save money. Guy on Facebook about a year ago asked on Facebook, how can I save money on food? My answer was, feed them more. And the guy said, no, you didn't understand the question and so on. So now I understood it perfectly and I laid it out for you. Oh shit, that does make sense, doesn't it? And so on. Just the next one there. Okay, now you're going to ask me, how do I know this is 30%? I'll show you in the next slide. But, so they did a huge trial. I mean, talking about 10,000 pigs and so on, and they fed them ad lib, which means as much as they can eat. Okay? And one group of pigs, the next group they fed at 90% of ad lib, 80, 70, 60 and so on, and they went to here. And I've taken the growth rate and so on and extrapolated that, and in another 2 weeks they would have been at zero growth and so on. So this 30% is 30% of ad lib. But when you're feeding at 60%, it is half of the food that you eat, that you're giving them, goes into maintenance, not a third. Half is now going into maintenance. You're feeding here, but a quarter of it is going into growth and the others into maintenance. So you can see this maintenance thing, you've got to put as much food into them as early as possible. Also remember, a piggy that's a young pig, a small pig, the growth rate or the feed conversion rate of a young pig is the same as a chicken, which is the gold standard in animal growth and so on. 2 kilos of food puts on 1 kilo of meat, live weight, sorry. When they are baconers, it takes 4 kilos, okay, that's including their mum and dad's food, 4 kilos to put on 1 kilo of food. So you can see the older they get, the worse their feed conversion gets, and so on. So get as much food into them early. Get them off to a good start. And those weaners, that's 20 kilos at weaning and so on, 10 kilos or 7, 8 kilos at weaning, they do not have a problem. They grow through, man, you can cut their legs off, they grow fine after that. But if you don't, they are buggered. They're already buggered. Get rid of them, buy other ones, and so on. Get them off to a good start. Okay, so yeah, very important is it's 30% when you're feeding them ad lib, but when you're feeding them at this rate, more of it is a percentage of maintenance which is wasted. Next one. Okay, so yeah, this is a trial. I've just converted these figures a bit. Those are the figures they got. So they fed the pigs. They were all the groups were sort of 26 kilos at the start of the trial. Okay, they fed them for 30 days, and these guys, they started there, they ended there. So they went from 26 to 50 kilos in 30 days. These guys went from 26 to 33 kilos in 30 days. Okay, the weight gained, these guys put on 7 kilos, those guys put on 23 kilos. More importantly than that, now I've extrapolated this. Okay, I took it to not for 30 days. I took it from 26 to 50 kilogram weight gain. It would have taken these guys 100 days to go from there to 50 kilos. 100 days, because they're growing that much per day, and so on. If you divide that into that, you'll get to 100 days. Okay, these guys doing the same weight range would have taken 31 days. So feeding them there or here, you've saved how many days? 70 days, 69 days, which means that you could just sort of put another lot through your piggery and so on. So you've lost days. Also, now the food used from 26 to 50 kilos, these guys would have used 76 kilos of food, these guys would have used 48 kilos of food. Now this is just from 26 to 50. Now I'll take it from 10 or from 8 to 130. How much food do you think you can save? Shitloads. Lots. Guys, grow them faster. Feed them as much as they can eat when they can eat it. And so on. That is the only way to make money.